Here's the richest billionaire in every U.S. state. In Arizona, Ernest Garcia II. Garcia's fortune stems from Carvana, the online used car and auto loan platform started by his son, fellow Arizona billionaire Ernest Garcia III, in 2012. The pair took the company public in 2017 and it now has a market capitalization of more than $20 billion. In Arkansas, Jim Walton, the youngest son of Walmart founder Sam Walton. He chairs the family's $27 billion assets in Harvest Bank. His brother, Rob, Walmart's former chairman, is right on his tail as the second richest in the state, at an estimated net worth of $65 billion. In California, Larry Page. From one tech billionaire to another, the Google co-founder took over the title of California's richest person from Meta founder Mark Zuckerberg. Though he stepped down as CEO in 2019, Page remains a board member and controlling shareholder of its parent company, Alphabet. In Colorado, Philip Anschutz. Anschutz built a fortune through decades of investments in the oil, railroads, telecom, real estate and entertainment industries. He sold his minority stake in the Los Angeles Lakers in July 2021, but still owns the NHL's Los Angeles Kings and part of the Los Angeles Galaxy soccer team. In Connecticut, Ray Dalio. From humble beginnings on New York's Long Island, Dalio went on to build the world's largest hedge fund firm, Bridgewater Associates, which today manages some $154 billion in assets. Dalio stepped down as co-CEO in 2017, but remains co-chairman and co-chief investment officer of the Connecticut-based firm. In Florida, Thomas Peterffy. Peterffy is the founder and chair of Interactive Brokers, the specialized trading platform he started in 1993. The self-made mogul isn't just Florida's richest resident, he's also a significant landowner with about 500,000 acres across the Sunshine State. In Georgia, Bernard Marcus. Marcus co-founded Home Depot in 1978 and is one of 3 billionaires to make a fortune from the home improvement retailer. He surpassed Koch Enterprises' Ed Jim Kennedy as Georgia's richest resident this year. In Hawaii, Larry Ellison. In 2020, the Oracle co-founder, chairman and chief technology officer officially moved to Lanai, the 90,000-acre island he bought nearly all of in 2012 for $300 million. Now the software tycoon only has to compete with one other known Hawaii-based billionaire, eBay founder Pierre Omidyar, who has about a tenth of Ellison's net worth. In Idaho, Frank VanderSloot. VanderSloot founded and runs Melaleuca, a self-branded wellness company that sells more than 450 products ranging from health supplements to eco-friendly household cleaners. He's known to throw a huge fireworks show in his hometown of Idaho Falls every July 4th. In Illinois, Ken Griffin. Griffin founded Chicago-based hedge fund Citadel, as well as market maker Citadel Securities, which is responsible for 1 of every 5 stock trades in the U.S. In March 2022, he put in a joint bid with the Ricketts family, the owners of the Chicago Cubs, to purchase the stake in Chelsea Football Club owned by the embattled Russian billionaire Roman Abramovich. In Indiana, Carl Koch. Koch is the CEO of Koch Group, the medical devices business started by his parents in their Bloomington apartment in 1963. The company generated nearly $2.5 billion in revenue in 2021 through its sales of catheters, dilators, stents and more. In Iowa, Harry Stine. The son of an Iowa farmer, Stine became fascinated with seeds at a young age. He later turned that passion into Stine Seed and made a fortune licensing corn and soybean genetics to multinational companies. In Kansas, Charles Koch. The Kansas native has spent decades at the helm of Koch Industries, the second largest private company by revenue in the U.S. The maker of Dixie cups and other household items has come under fire for its decision not to shutter its business in Russia amid the war with Ukraine. In Kentucky, Tamara Gustavson. Gustavson owns an 11% stake in Public Storage, the storage giant co-founded in 1972 by her father, B. Wayne Hughes, who died in August 2021. She owns Spendthrift Farm, one of America's top thoroughbred breeding farms in Lexington, Kentucky. In Louisiana, Gayle Benson. One of the most powerful women in pro sports, Benson is the principal owner of the NFL's New Orleans Saints and NBA's New Orleans Pelicans. She inherited control of the teams after her husband Tom Benson's death in 2018, which sparked a since-resolved years-long dispute among Tom's family members. In Maine, Susan Alfond. Alfond and her 3 siblings inherited the spoils of the shoe empire founded by their late father. Harold Alfond sold Dexter Shoe Company to Warren Buffett in 1993 for $420 million of Berkshire Hathaway stock that is now worth billions of dollars. In Maryland, Stephen Bisciotti. After being overtaken by Danaher chairman Mitchell Rales last year, the Baltimore Ravens owner is back as Maryland's richest person. Bisciotti's billions come from Allegas Group, the largest staffing firm in the US, which he started out of a basement in 1983 with his cousin Jim Davis, who is also a billionaire. In Massachusetts, Abigail Johnson has served as the CEO of Fidelity Investments, one of the largest asset managers in the world, since 2014. She owns an estimated 24.5% of the mutual funded giant started by her grandfather, Edward Johnson II, in 1946. In Michigan, Daniel Gilbert, a serial entrepreneur, Gilbert co-founded the $22 billion market capitalization Rocket Companies, the largest mortgage lender in the US, in 1985 at age 22 years old. More recently, he helped launch online sneaker sale platform Stocks, which is valued at $3.8 billion. In Minnesota, Glen Taylor bought a wedding service business for $2 million in 1975 and turned it into Taylor Corporation, one of the largest private companies in the US. The Minnesota-based billionaire also owns stakes in the state's NBA team, the Timberwolves, its WNBA team, the Lynx, and the Minnesota United FC soccer team. In Mississippi, James Duff and Thomas Duff, the Duff brothers turned the struggling tire business inherited from their father into a $3.5 billion empire. They now own and run at least 18 companies, including the trucking company KLLM and the construction firm TL Wallace Construction, under the Duff Capital Investors umbrella. In Missouri, Pauline MacMillan Keinath is the great-granddaughter of the founder of Cargill, the largest food company in the world and largest private company in the US by revenue. She owns an estimated 13% stake, about 90% of Cargill is still owned by the family. In Montana, Dennis Washington's first jobs were as a heavy grain operator and as an employee for his uncle's construction business. He started the diversified business group Washington Companies with a $30,000 loan from that same uncle, and now has billions thanks to investments in copper mining, shipbuilding and a regional railroad. In Nebraska, Warren Buffett. Despite being the 5th richest person in the world, the Berkshire Hathaway CEO and Oracle of Omaha still lives in the same house he purchased in 1958 for $31,500. Buffett has promised to donate 99% of his wealth to charity, and has given away more than $45 billion so far. In Nevada, Miriam Ellison, the widow of casino magnate and GOP megadonna Sheldon Adelson, became a billionaire in her own right when he died in January 2021. She now owns more than half of the roughly $30 billion Las Vegas Sands gambling empire. In New Jersey, John Overdeck co-founded the quantitative trading powerhouse 2 Sigma, which has some $60 billion under management. He surpassed the Garden State's 2021 richest resident, Mediacom founder and CEO Rocco Commisso, this year. In New York, Michael Bloomberg, the media mogul, former mayor of New York and failed presidential candidate, increased his net worth by an estimated $23 billion over the past year. Bloomberg's fortune comes from the eponymous finance-focused media and information company he co-founded in 1981 after he cut his teeth at a Wall Street investment bank. In North Carolina, Tim Sweeney co-founded and runs Epic Games, which is also based in his hometown of North Carolina. The Fortnite developer, which brought in $5.1 billion in revenues in 2020, was valued at $28.7 billion after raising $1 billion in an April 2021 funding round. In Ohio, Leigh Wexner and family. Wexner, the former CEO and founder of L Brands, has severed nearly all ties with the retail empire he built over more than 5 decades. He dumped some 30 million shares in mid-2021 amid ongoing scrutiny over his relationship with the late financier Jeffrey Epstein, and now owns less than 2% of the Victoria's Secret and Bath & Body Works parent company. In Oklahoma, Harold Hamm, the youngest of 13 children born to Oklahoma sharecroppers, Hamm runs one of the largest independent oil companies in the U.S., Continental Resources. He replaced Tom and Judy Love, the owners of the Love's Travel Stops and Country Stores chain, as the state's richest person after nearly doubling his fortune since last year. In Oregon, Phil Knight, Though he retired from the company in 2016, Knight still owns nearly a quarter of Nike, the shoe and clothing giant he famously co-founded with his former track coach at the University of Oregon, Bill Bowerman. Knight is $44 billion richer than any other Oregon resident. In Pennsylvania, Jeff Yass. After winning big with poker and horse racing in the 1970s and early 1980s, Yass applied his knack for gambling to options trading when he co-founded Susquehanna International Group. The trading firm has since become one of Wall Street's largest and most successful. In Rhode Island, Jonathan Nelson. From college radio DJ to private equity titan, Nelson founded the Rhode Island-based Providence Equity Partners, which has invested in more than 160 companies to date. He stepped down as CEO in January 2021 but remains executive chairman. In South Carolina, Anita Zucker. Zucker runs the South Carolina-based Intertech Group, a privately owned chemicals manufacturer with about $3 billion in annual revenue. She took over as CEO after her late husband, Jerry, who founded the company, died of a brain tumor in 2008. In South Dakota, T. Denny Sanford. Sanford owns the Sioux Falls-based First Premier Bank, which specializes in credit cards for high-risk borrowers. According to ProPublica, the banking billionaire has been under investigation since 2020 for the alleged possession of child pornography. In Tennessee, Thomas Frist Jr. and family. A former Air Force flight surgeon, Frist co-founded the Hospital Corp of America, which owns and operates 187 hospitals and 2,000 sites of care across 20 states. It also has locations in the UK. He no longer has an executive position at the healthcare chain, but both his sons, Thomas Frist III and William Frist, sit on the board. In Texas, Elon Musk. The world's richest person, Musk has vowed off almost all physical possessions and sold the last of his 7 California homes in November 2021. Though he claims to have set up camp in a modest $50,000 rental property near his aerospace company SpaceX's rocket launch facility in South Texas, the Tesla CEO has reportedly been living in a luxury mansion owned by a wealthy friend. In Utah, Gayle Miller and Matthew Prince. There's a tie for the title of Utah's richest resident. Miller is the owner and chair of Larry H. Miller Management, and she is also the former owner of the Utah Jazz NBA team. Meanwhile, Prince, a newcomer to the billionaires list in 2021, is the co-founder and CEO of the publicly traded web infrastructure and security company Cloudflare. In Virginia, Jacqueline Mars. Mars' fortune comes from the candy company founded by her grandfather in 1911. She and 2 brothers each inherited an estimated 1/3 when her father died in 1999. Her brother, John, is the richest person in Wyoming. In Washington, Jeff Bezos. Though he can no longer claim to be the richest person in the world, the Amazon founder is still the wealthiest resident of Washington state. Since stepping down as Amazon CEO in July 2021, Bezos has focused more of his attention on other ventures, including his commercial space company, Blue Origin. In Wisconsin, John Menard Jr. The oldest of 8 children, Menard grew up on a Wisconsin farm and founded the Menard's empire of more than 300 home improvement stores, largely based in the middle of the U.S. In Wyoming, John Mars. Mars inherited an estimated 1/3 of the candy company founded by his grandfather in 1911. The Mars empire has since expanded into pet food, which today makes up a significant portion of its business. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video.